Hey everyone, obviously Paul Daniels here. No magic tricks tonight. We're gonna try and get a board we worked on the other day to come back to life. I've been cleaning up the workshop tonight and just going through the odd jobs that haven't been finished, which is pretty much about 3/4 of my slots at the moment. Been doing some no-fix declarations on a few. Just some that I've I've spent too many hours on them. Time to kill them off. So this is the A1502 that we had the other night, and it originally came in because it was the no display problem, or at least that was the initial symptom. And then we found that the LVDS connector was on wrong, and we found a whole lot of botch job on the board. And we hadn't really seen the behavior before of the way that it was. Looks like it was booting, but then it shut down, and then tried again, shut down. And tonight I decided I'd try the old heat trick, which is basically, let's switch over to the overhead view. Overhead, there we go. Okay, so the old heat trick that we do is, if you've got a board that seems to show sun sensitivities, such as what initially got us is we tried replacing the BIOS, and we noticed the behavior changed after that. And it was either because of the BIOS or it was because we heated the area. So I thought, yeah, okay. So I started heating up around here and nothing was changing. I was still getting that sort of 5-second boot with no CPU activity. And I just kept trying all the different areas. You basically take your hot air gun and you just sort of heat up one little zone and then test again. So, and eventually what happened is, I was saying that the MOSFETs were heating up more than I'd expect them to. In the infrared camera we could see that. And in the end I found when I heated up this area, it started to shut down a lot quicker. So instead of being the 5 seconds, it would just simply shut down like that. And I thought, okay, we've got something in there. We've either got the CPU is heat sensitive, in which case this is a write-off, or it's something near the CPU. Anyway, so we'll dig in and I'll show you what I found. And I thought, well, I may as well stream this because I know a few people suffered and tortured and the camera is off. You mungy little so-and-so of a such and such a... Yeah, let's twist this around. I should have spent $10,000 on a new video system, and then I wouldn't have tax issues that I'm having right now, which is like, well, looks like I haven't spent enough money on myself. Jim, you're going to yell at me for that, I know. But I need to save every penny I had. We're good now. Okay, so from above, you sort of initially think, yeah, the MOSFETs aren't, they look good. But then if you tilt this bugger up, the very first thing that strikes you is that these caps have been replaced and they've done a crap job. Look at this. See how there's voids under there? Now these are very high current caps, so they want to have a very good solder join there, because otherwise the resistance between the cap and the board is enough that it will cause ripple and sag in the voltage when the CPU starts demanding. So my bet is we might be able to replace these two and we may actually have a win, because that's how it should look. See a nice fillet there, ensuring that you've got maximum current flowing, or minimum resistance really. But this is a load of BS. This is 10-minute tech guy doing his work here. It's a new thing I've got now. The 10-minute tech guy is the guy that says he can do it real quick and cheap, and he just fire trucks it up. Sorry, Jim. It's not a reference to your stuff, obviously. Yeah, capacitors. Who was the guy who fixed his graphics card by basically just using compression soldering? Jim's going to think I'm attacking him. I'm not. I'm really not. I suppose the first thing I can try is to actually fill in that, but the trouble is they are sitting wonky, and so solder isn't bad in terms of resistance. It's not too bad, but you really do want to have the minimum sort of thickness possible between the pad of the part and the board. So I guess what they were worried about is they were going to cook the CPU. Fair enough, I understand that. But the trouble is they botched up so many other things on this board that I'm not going to give them a free pass on that one. Compression soldering, yeah, that's when you just push it down real hard and try to treat the solder as plasticine and hope it sticks together. Hey Jimbo, hey Draco, Christian. Yeah, 10-minute tech guy, guys. Yeah, that middle one seems fine. So I'm kind of curious what compelled them to actually replace these. They are hard to replace without botching them up. What will often happen is they'll pop when you try to get them off. Like you put too much heat on them and then all of a sudden you'll see the tantalum cap, the lid of it, just dome up slightly. Yeah, we'll see how we go. These ones are usually fairly tolerant of it. But we are going to have to sort of go at it a bit slow and get the board up to temperature. We are pretty damn close to the CPU, so it's a bit of a concern. That noise, I think that one just popped. Hey T&W. 10 minutes he learned electronics. But yeah, I'm sick of it. After today, I'm just sick of the 10-minute tech guy. He's a scourge on our industry. I'm going to be really excited if we fix this. Yeah, I've got my JSO2 here. I don't know if this is going to actually work or not. Yeah, come on. Yep, that's not going to work. We're going to have to use hot air wicking, which I'm not overly a fan of at this point. In this area, I should rather say. So we'll protect the CPU again and have another shot. What might work is if I actually put some... It looks like it is already leaded solder, but I'll put down a little bit of my own. What part is missing next to the A16J? Two copper circle looking pads. You talking about this, or not rightly sure what you're talking about? This. Yeah, I think that's just factory. There's no factory no stuff. There's no actual part there. What got me started on the 10-minute tech guy thing is I was having a bit of a verbal, well, I shouldn't say verbal, it's more of a text with some people in the cell phone repair shop threads, and they were picking on some guy who said that he takes usually about 45 minutes to do certain screens, and they were just pounding into him as if he was some sort of deficient tech or something, and they're like, we can do it in 10 minutes, you should be able to do that in 10 minutes. And then, as it turns out, today I receive a phone that looks like it'd been done exactly by that sort of 10-minute tech guy, where it was a complete and utter botch fest. And so that's how I've decided that I'm now coining the term 10-minute tech guy. Yeah, I trimmed the braid because otherwise it's too much thermal load sometimes to get it to wick up fast enough. These pads being where they are, I need them to be pretty much perfect. With other, pads that are further away from the CPU or don't demand the CPU, that sort of thermal mass, or have that thermal mass, I'm fine to just, go ahead and run the wick. Let's see. Okay, so we want these three here. And yeah, you can see those two pads, there are no stuff. ZX, it's not that it's got a switch mode problem, it's just, well, what's probably happening is too much ripple is hitting the CPU. And I think it's because they had the gap. Now the main reason why I know about that can happen is because if anyone used to do the NEC token caps in the Toshibas, you knew that if you didn't get your replacement caps sitting dead flat or almost dead flat onto the board when you put them on, you would get the same sort of issue. It would sort of intermittently start, not come up properly, things like that. And it was because that tiny bit of extra resistance was enough to kill enough to cause too much ripple. I'm talking a bit excited here. This all could be for nothing. Thermal expansion of the crack. That sounds like a plumber's butt in summer. Yeah, bad soldering caused the high ESR. And that's fundamentally it. The infrared camera was trying to tell us there was a problem there, because it was saying that the MOSFETs were taking too much load, but I couldn't understand why my limited human brain didn't put two and two together. Experience is a good teacher, it certainly is. Okay, we'll make sure we put them the right way around, otherwise you get some very pretty but stinky and unfortunately destructive results. Okay, we're going to clean the solder off the bottom of them as well. So I'll actually take them off the board, put them on the... Hey, Ratmel. If I had new ones of these, I would prefer to use them new, but I just don't. So, unfortunately, it's going to have to be refurbished ones. Hey, James Robson. Hey, Paul Howell. Yeah, late one. It sort of came about because I had a bit of luck here, and I'm hoping that we have a win now. See, it's not a problem that I reuse the wick on this, because if anything, it actually helps prepare the pads. Hey, Ali, welcome back. I'm just going to clean that surface there. Now I'm trying to think how I want to solder these down. I can use paste and do the reflow. I can try soldering one end and then, solder down the second end. The only trouble with doing that in these kind of tight spaces is that you more often than not can't get the soldering tip down far enough, and you're not able to transfer enough heat. So I think what we'll do is we'll just put some leaded solder down, a very small amount, and then do the reflow. At least the reflow will be at a lower temperature compared to what we need to get it off. Is that MOSFET damage? No, it's just a bit of flux sitting on it. Spot weld. Well, that's an idea. I can fillet them afterwards. But for now, that's about the amount of solder I want. Wondering how much of a gamble I'm taking trying to do all three at once. Well, guess we'll see. We'll turn the board around so that the hot air flows away from the CPU. Here we go. If they start jumping around because of the airflow, I'll stop. Okay, top one's down. There, you're down. Okay, they're good. That fillet there is about the only one I'm concerned about, but these ones came out beautiful. I'm really happy with those ones. Okay, there's a fillet bead in there, so we're okay. Well, that's pretty much perfect. That's a little offset, but certainly worlds better than what they had. Yeah, I think we can live with those. Maybe it's a little warm still. Alright, fingers crossed. We're looking for the green blink. Yeah, God help us if we don't get it. So this is normal, we'd get the fan spin and everything like that, but it would shut down after about 5 seconds. Damn, and we're back to that still. What else is 10-minute tech botched up then? Now I feel disappointed. I'm sad now. Hey Daniel Posh. Like, I'm genuinely wondering how many other bits and pieces were meddled with that I don't know about, that I got bad connections on them. Microwave reflow, that's always possible. Will be interesting to see if the MOSFETs are running as hot now. Let's power it up and see what happens. It's a trick, PC. Yeah, you can see the rams coming to life there. So they flashed on momentarily. Certainly trying. I do need to check to see if I get a reset signal going. Okay, the MOSFETs still look like they're struggling. Okay, let's keep looking around in this area and see what else is being botched up. I'm kind of curious why they even had to do anything there. It's a little bit it's a little bit ominous when you find people have been soldering around that area. So like I notice how this is crooked, this is crooked. They're all a little less than right. Oops, a bit noisy. So you compare it to an original. See, that's straight, and guess what have we got? 3 blanks, 3 blanks and 3 blanks and 3. There, it's like it's been reflowed. I know it's crooked because it was like that before I even got to it. So what did you mongrels touch as well? What if the CPU is reflowed? Slightly less expecting. This machine was running, so I'm gonna say no to that. But like I said, I'm wondering what part around here have they also touched, which is making this thing do this behavior. I feel like I'm gonna have to sniff around with the board on its edge. But I'm definitely feeling the heartfelt sorrow now for the fact that we didn't fix it using the MOSFET. This chap here doesn't look like it's sitting down right. It could be, but it's lacking. No, okay, they all look like that. That's fine. Paranoid now. Is the CPU receiving the right voltage? I'm not rightly sure. I'll check it after I've had a sniff around. I think I might disconnect the fan. We don't need the fan, and it's more than likely just going to get snagged at some point soon with me raging. Rehot everything. Okay. So yeah, we're going to do the edge view type approach now. So there are just so many spots on this board where there's been fiddling, like here. See, and that's right under the CPU. So there was some issue that was happening with this board. And the temperature sensor is completely butchered up too. I don't think it's the temperature sensor causing issues, but well, we may get to the point where we try replacing that too. I really hoped we had a win then, but much disappointed I am. I might just redo this temperature sensor anyway. It's so bad that it needs to be done regardless. Victor Nihoff. I gotta keep in my pocket a bunch of lines that I want to say. Oh. One of those lines is, remember to turn your fume extractor on. Nope, that's beyond me. I think you actually showed me that earlier today and I've already forgotten for the moment. Mostly because my brain is now working in repair stuff mode. Yep, I know, I see the bridge. Yeah, I'd say the CPU could be dubious. The other problem we're facing is it could also just be a single resistor somewhere that's got one leg slightly propped up, not quite touching a pad where it's meant to. Mind you, this failure is happening very early in the boot sequence, I suppose, because we're not even getting to the BIOS activity, I think. I need to check that. Hey, Combat Wombat. And the other trouble is, of course, has the possibility that it has been damaged because of the bad work that they've done. There was another board I did, and unfortunately the soldering on one of the caps is bad, and I'm worried that the ripple eventually damaged the GPU. Hey, Robert Hamilton. Yeah, B-Dog, living in the future here. Now, for those of you who also repair MacBooks, have you ever had the scenario where let me just describe what happened. I had a board that I tested, fixed, and all that. I packed it up, I didn't get to pack it up. But one of the things I do just before I pack up a board is a machine, is I always boot it again just to be sure that it's still running. And this one was dead. And then I bring it down here, and I've got a repeat of what I had a couple of weeks ago where 3V42 is running at around about 7 volts. And then when I check the resistor divider pair, the 200k resistor of that divider pair is down at, it's only at like 195k, which is very weird. Resistors don't normally fail like that, usually. And I'm wondering whether I was foolish enough and accidentally used the resistor book again for that particular part. And since I can't be sure, I'm just going to throw those resistor books out now. I'm fairly sure I said I'd do that before, and I think it's just the universe reminding me that I was supposed to do that. As soon as I put a new resistor on there that was at the 200k value, bam, it ran, no problems. But I do not like it when things like that happen. So why did that happen? Hey, Teacher Gracie Jean. So it bothers me, and I know it's not the first time I've had that happen. I had another board die under similar circumstances. It got down to the customer, and they powered it up, and it was just dead. And it got back here, and I tested it, and the 3V42 was running at around about 7-8 volts. I think that one even jumped up to 12. And subsequently just killed the rest of the board. Hey, Thomas B, long-time lurker, first time on a live feed. Oh, welcome Thomas B, thank you for being a long-time lurker. Lurkers are good, lurkers watch, lurkers contribute. Alright, Combat, get some sleep. I'm getting sick of all these hairs hanging around on the board. I don't know if they're hairs or they're just, what do you call it? Fibers from the cleaning thingamajig that I use. All I know is they're annoying and they're difficult to get rid of. Good job. I'm fairly sure I know which one's pin 1, but I'm going to check the board view. How old's this board? 2013, I think. That's okay, Victor. Thank you. And I will try and speak to you better tomorrow. Or the next day. Pull how, but oh yeah, right, you're telling me, yeah. I pulled up the board view and it told me. But thanks for checking. We just need that resistor. Morning, computers repair. There isn't a bridging up there. It looks like there is, but it's not. Yeah, it's just a little bit fat. We've all cleaned up there. There we go. Hey, John Finn. Oh yeah, genuinely not expecting a repair at this point, but it was just a case of I'm now in the brainless phase again. Oh, you got a chipmunk coming. Excellent. Oh, same crap. Edge board view. Which is not too dissimilar to crotch view sometimes. So what we're looking for are parts that are not sitting down right. Oops. I don't know why my voice jumps up occasionally. We're looking for boards, parts that are not sitting down properly or look like they've been meddled with, things like that. Like those CPU caps. I mean, that was rather distinctly bad. It's just unusual how all of these connectors here have got burn damage on them, and I can't for the life of me understand why. This connector should not be playing any factor at this point. That one will have to be replaced. That's not a bridge. It's just a piece of random fluff. Like, see that little chap in the middle there? That looks like it's been meddled with. It's been ground off on one side, so I'm guessing that probably actually is from another donor board. All of this stuff here looks factory to me. I've made things a little bit more complicated for myself here because I've already reflowed quite a few things. And subsequently there's a moderate amount of flux jumping around. But yes, this is certainly a troll board. That end cap in the middle there, it looks a little weird, but it's just, it's okay, it's okay. The fuse is a little off kilter, but I don't think that's something that we're going to worry about. It's more in the realm of what you do anticipate seeing. I could try to replace the SMC. Actually, I think what I should do first is see if we're even getting activity anywhere on the reset line. Hey Chris Long. Basically the board will attempt to power up and then it won't. What I should do is actually see if it exhibits the same behavior that initially brought my attention to this area. That's something. And if it does give that same behavior, then it means we've probably got an internal board fault. So there's a trace or something that's fractured. So we'll just heat up this zone again. Yeah, 101, you're probably not far off. Okay, I think that was about enough heat. Yeah, we got the same fault back. Okay, see how that just flicked like that? And that's because I heated up that area. So at this point it's either a CPU issue or the actual board itself has got a fracture in it or something like that. We'll take the heatsink off and have a look around, but it does seem like it's most likely something we can't fix. Just send this to Rossman for Paul S. You know, I'm trying to maintain civil relations with Paul S. I think sending this to him would probably result in me being banned for life. Yeah, I already did check for the fractured PCH, Chris. You're slow off the mark, buddy. That comment would have been useful 2 days ago. Hey, the Axis. Ah, I see Eric's here too. Anyhow, Chris, you can't go lumping all you Americans together. You're all different people. Certainly have different beliefs, that's for sure. And you guys get serious about your different beliefs, and that's why you end up with civil wars. I wonder if there's a bit of junk under the CPU. Suppose we could put in the ultrasonic and try our luck. The other possibility is maybe one of the resistors has gone high, one of the power current sense. Pull that edge bonding, let's cook a CPU. It sounds like some redneck talk there, Chris. You got your banjo with you? You're in the right state for it too. Okay, 0.2's about right. Okay, that's about right too. Well, you know, at the start of the Civil War, if you're going to believe the Patrick Swayze love and war thing, then it was attempted to be civil right at the start, and then it degenerated very rapidly. Very, very rapidly. The other possibility, though, I'd be surprised, but yeah, that could be giving me grief, but so right now I'm trying to differentiate whether we've got a board, CPU, or a bad cap issue. Do we have a look at these? They seem like they're reflowed okay. Yeah, that's still factory. I mean, it's ugly, don't get me wrong, but it's factory. Just trying to see if I can see any imperfection on that CPU. How about we just throw it into the ultrasonic? Why do they still use tantalum caps other than cost? Microfarads per capacity, the fact that people are just used to them, the fact that they guarantee that the computer will die in 10 years. Take your pick. They do have a pretty purple colour though when you reverse pull, you know, when they do pop. Can't beat that purple colour. Yeah, their ESR is, yeah. Ceramics do a better job, but then again, it depends on your frequency domain that you're working in. Originally, tantalums were attractive simply because of the fact that you could have a fairly high level of capacitance in a very tiny package. But if you've got a lot of ripple on your line, they really don't like that. And they will bitterly complain. It's a pretty toxic way of getting purple in your fireworks, that's for sure. The ESR on ceramics is actually, it depends, it comes down to what frequency you ripple and what you're trying to filter. But overall, ceramics generally do better than tantalums at least. So when you look at the performance graphs on your various capacitor types, like your various ceramics, X5R, Weiss3, whatever. Yeah, they have all that information spilled out all over there, which you go, totally understand any of this. Mr. Singh, we already have done that, and nothing's showing up other than the usual. The CPU warms up, everything like that. So I feel like if the CPU isn't dead, I feel like it's been inhibited by something stupid. Hey, James Finnegan. Alright, let's go get some ASMR activity. Let's see if we can get lucky. Oh, crikey. Oh, man. The body does not cope. I do have another job to do. So we'll do that while I'm looking like an idiot with my headphones on. Yeah, whatever. Oh, you mongrel. You're stuck at 50? You're supposed to be at 65. You're 15 degrees too cold. Yeah, we'll do it anyway. 50 is like totally lukewarm. I could put my hand in there and not suffer. Here comes the ASMR. I'm just going to go 3 minutes aside. You all enjoying that? Excellent. Now let's do this other job. Ow. Yeah, the joys are getting old. But the joys are getting fat, really. I'm not that old, I'm just fat. At least tonight we're only going to go for 3 minutes aside. We're not going to do the 5-minute run. Look. People are probably wondering what in the heck. This is a battery charger, a lithium battery charger, and these batteries are used in motorcycle gloves as for heating. So now I've already told the person that they could just cheaply enough go and buy another one, but they wanted to, see if it could be repaired. So we're going to do that. And I think we just found the fault. Man, yeah, I think that just broke clean off. So basically we've got 10-minute tech guy being the factory foreman, controlling the quality assurance, and that is why that has broken off. That is some gnarly looking. The trouble with doing these boards is that you get tempted to want to fix everything. I forgot to put my drawstring on it. Now I've got to use the freaking tongs. Yeah, I'd say both wires could definitely be redone. See if I got some reasonable replacement wire. Not you complete crap. This stuff is too thick. Oh, that'll work. It's a little thick, but it will. Something like it a bit thicker. Yeah, maybe that's monstrously thick. It's about the thinnest wire I've got. The stuff's nasty. It's polyurethane coat, I think. We're almost finished the ultrasonic. Okay, into the oven. And 20 minutes of warming up, and that should be good. Alright. Steve K, you are correct, yes, it will come off with heat, but the trouble is it stinks. So I'll try to get it off a little bit away from the connector before I completely... There we go. Yep, it stinks. And it just leaves a yuck mess everywhere. It's like factory snot. Okay, we can stick our excessively encumbered wire there. I think I wonder if I'd put it on sideways like this instead. I don't have anything fancy like a Jacob's ladder in here, unfortunately. Sorry to disappoint. That would be cool, but I'd probably end up like, what's his name? Electro Boom? Ah, damn it. No, put it down, Paul. Welcome to why... Okay, where's my little clamps? I will be right... Where are they? This is why I was after that jeweler's stuff the other day. Where did I put these clamps? My life isn't mockery. Well, actually we can just use these tweezers. And I think we'll just have to take it off the edge because the insulation is simply too thick. If you're wondering why the fan is jumping up and down, that's because that's the drying oven kicking in, and the drying oven uses about 2,000 watts. So yeah, you know when it's running. It doesn't use it for long, but it does use it in one hit. What I should really do is take out half the elements. And if I took out half the elements, it would not hit the power quite so hard. There we go, come on. Oh, that is just vile. Disgusting. Nice thing about using this silicon wire, silicon insulated wire, is that you can, when you do put solder on there, the wire doesn't shrink back. I should rather say the insulation doesn't shrink back. Whereas a PVC wire, insulated wire, you get anywhere near it with heat and it's like, yeah, get away from me, and it just shrinks back. It's better. Getting my old form back now. I never used to have to do this under the microscope, but I'd hate to try and do it without now. There's a ripple in the force. Troll's time. Over 12:30. Some poor bastard job is probably just to spend all day making those connections and nothing else. We should be thankful for the fact that we don't have that kind of life. I suppose it's better than not having a job at all, but it's still not the greatest. Well, at least the fume extractor works. It genuinely feels unnatural to be working without the soldering iron. Oh, without the soldering iron. Without the microscope, I mean. It feels very unnatural. Hey Mr. Lemon, how's it been? Haven't seen you for a while, you okay? Stick a bit more solder down on this one. It's funny, I've still got a habit of blowing towards the soldering point to try and blow the flux away. I guess it comes from too many years of not having a proper fume extractor. Alright, I am going to use the microscope to make sure they line up right. Yeah, all's good here. We're end of financial year now, so now things get really interesting for me financially. It's an acceptable fillet. This, however, is not acceptable. That's the 10-minute tech type connection. Not good enough. It just needs to sit down a little more. Oh yeah, that's more secure. I'm happy with that. Hey Venado, welcome. Let's see. We'll just use the toothbrush method for this one. And because the wire is so thick and the connections seem to be pretty good, I don't know if we're going to need to do any hot gluing. We'll see how we go when we put it together. See if we feel like there's too much tension on the wire. Because remember, this, all that tension does still have to be handled by whatever holding power those copper pads have to the PCB. And if it's too much, then yeah, we need to stop the wire from pulling on those pads too much. Otherwise we'll end up with a scenario which is worse than what we just encountered. Yeah, little wires and things like this can be quite frustrating. Just give it a good flood. More paper towel. It's not quite ultrasonic level, but yeah. Fiddly operation, yes. First ever reflow went super well. What did you reflow, Luke? That is right, I didn't even look at the bottom of it. That's all the control electronics for the lithium charging. Okay, I have no idea whatsoever. My wires might be a bit fat. I may have gotten a bit overzealous. Damn it. But I want to use those big wires. Yeah, let's take that out and just see if it even fits. The black one definitely has to go sideways. There's no way I can make this fit, I don't think. Yeah, I'm going to break that pad off if I do that. So I've got to turn that black wire around to the side as per original plan, but we lost our nerve. Ronaldo, I predominantly do MacBook these days, but yeah, I mean I've done plenty of other kinds of work over the years. Just at the moment, MacBooks are sort of like the flavor of business. That's the other thing is, previously, okay, oh no, I've got a strand of hair poking out like that, that's annoying. Okay. Let's see how annoyed I can get before I throw this thing. Okay, Shane, thank you. I wish I had much finer silicon wire. Yeah, I think I've kind of gotten a little too cocky with my choices here and ended up making life harder for myself. It was a dream, and a dream that we'd not get to keep. I could have sworn I used to have thinner silicon wire than that. I had stuff down to about 28 gauge, but I've never been able to find it. I used to use it to run high-powered LEDs through the airframes of aircraft. Fine. Is this the same stuff? it wasn't making the connection buzz. That was the problem. And if I hot glued it, it would just break clean off again anyway. They're the same. Give it a nudge with a hammer. Have I wired up the proximity switches? Nope, I haven't. Come on. Surely there's a way we can do this. Are we not men? Or women? Whatever. Let's make this a challenge. Let's make it so we can fit it in as if we're some sort of car enthusiast who wants to stick his 1 kilowatt subwoofer amplifier into his car. We gotta make it happen. You wanna feel the beats? You gotta pump the power. I've got the power. Hey, 1990s. I have seen that they have those competitions on who can make the loudest car system, and they have some absurdly powerful systems in there. Oh, come on, separate, lift and separate. Oh, yummy steak, I don't know whether that's a diss or not. I consider my singing to be pretty awful. So I'm gonna assume then that henceforth you're saying that my taste in pizza is bad. Yeah, that's hurtful. I think I'm gonna cry now. I like my pizza like I... Did you just break off? You better not have. You'll be in major trouble. Come on, we're almost there. We're almost there. We're almost there. Just a little bit longer. Okay, why aren't you sitting down? Oh, pump up the volume. Yeah, that was another one. Ah! Yay! I ruined that. I knew that was going to happen. Alright. Looks like we're going to have to do some severe board repair here. See what I did? Ruin that trace. So we've got to fix that now. I do apologise to the real owner of this. I am... Unfortunately... Okay, no. I need to be a responsible person here and actually do this properly. And get rid of the thick wires. I'm sorry. You know, I shouldn't be damaging equipment like that. You do it sensibly. Because now I have damaged that PCB slightly. So now we have to do some serious repair. Okay, let's have a look at the damage we've done. And let us pray that I can fix it. Alright, 10-minute text says that's fixed. Oops. At least these are 2-layer boards. Okay, so we know we have to go from there to the 310 resistor. We know we've broken that trace there. I'm very sorry to the owner of this. I was getting carried away and being silly. That's not an appropriate behaviour. I'm just going to go through my box of wires and see what I've got. That's more suitable. Silicon wire would have been the best, but like I said, I just don't have my 28 gauge that I thought I had, which is rather disappointing. Let's see, I'll use some servo wire maybe. Even servo wire is actually annoying to work with. It is very sensitive to heat. Hey Keith. Yeah, the wires, I don't know. It's not here, that much is for sure. Yeah, watch how this vinyl insulation just shrinks back. Oh well, not bad. I used to have to do several hundred of these wires every day, and I've got a molten solder pot, and I would use that, and I just have this bundle of wires that are already pre-stripped like that, and you dip them into the flux and then dip them into the pot, and then straight away you'd have yourself a nice bundle of about 100 wires that were all tinned and everything. But of course, if you did it wrong, if you left it in the solder pot for a little bit too long, or your flux was off or something like that, you'd end up with a bundle of 100 wires that were basically useless. Hey, English? They'll get their chance to melt later anyway when they're put onto the board. Unfortunately, Steve, the trouble is that I can't get access to the battery connector in the frame. It sits beneath, so yeah, unfortunately it's not an option. Otherwise, yes, that would have been a good plan. So I'm just splitting the wires now. Right, hopefully we can maintain not melting this. I think having the micro tip actually helps quite a lot. That's not bad. I'll pay $1 for that. Was this Steve K? Second attempt? What? I already said that I can't get the I can't get this assembly down in there and access the pads at the same time. That's a nice job. However, I may be able to put this assembly, maybe that's what you're meaning, maybe I should put this assembly in first and then route the wires up and solder them on. Is that what you're meaning? Even if you weren't, you're going to go, that's what I was meaning. I'm like, oh, okay. Hey, David. Oh, the polarity. Yeah, the polarity should be fine. There's a little plus symbol down in there, and there's a negative symbol there. We're all good on polarity. David, no, this is definitely not a board from yesterday. This is just a board we're dealing with while we wait for the yesterday's board to come out of the oven. Ah, Jim, you're still with us. Goody. Good to see you, Jim. Hope your migraines don't keep you up too much this time. So I'm going to connect that way, because there's just not enough room between the back of this board and the plastic housing, so it definitely, well, I shouldn't say definitely, it really needs to come this way. There we go. Well, if only I'd had this soldering iron tip back when I did this on a daily basis. It would have saved me untold amounts of time. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're just going to use the wire as a bit of a bridge to secure it. I just want to make sure I can actually bend it appropriately. And we finally got the damn insulation melting, unfortunately. That was somewhat inevitable. Well, that's not too bad. We might put a dot of hot, might put a dot of hot glue on it. Would have been nice if it was more like that. I'll buy Hakko FX951 from Germany, near Germany. What? There should be no trouble getting a Hakko over there, I'd imagine. Unfortunately, I don't really have enough. I don't think I've got a heat shrink quite this small. We'll just have to hot glue it. It's definitely not my preferred option, but we will get away with it. Yeah, because there was pressure on the insulation pushing it back. You can see why I wasn't able to just drop it in and solder it before. This thing may need some hot gluing in general. Oh, yeah, this is going to need some hot gluing in general because when it was originally opened, not by me by the way, it looks like there were certain liberties taken. Yeah, some hot glue potting would do the trick. It should work. I guess we'll find out. I think this might have been plastic welded or something, which is why it's a bit of a botch job. Yeah, you can see it's been chewed out. The guy tried to open it up, which is fine, yeah, it's his own stuff. But I'd say it was probably plastic welded or something. Now, the only thing I can't work out is why has it got 2 ports there? I'm not sure why it's got 2. Where's test and hot glue, never the other way around. Quite right. Okay, let's take this charger. Plug that. Oh, it's a Chinese one. It's upside down. Okay, we have light. Yeah, I don't know which is which. Okay, we got a blinky. Let's see what happens if we put a battery in. It seems to placate it. I guess it's just going to blink until it charges, and it probably, maybe it'll stop blinking or it will turn green. I have a feeling it's probably not going to turn green. But it seems to work. I mean, it did change its behavior once we plugged that in. I know how we can check. We'll test the voltage of this and then compare it in 10 minutes time. Voltage. Give it 18 volts. My goodness, Chris Long, you are such a violent young man. Is it not enough that you live in the country of violence? Yeah, see, it blinks like crazy when you take it out. Okay, negative. 3.97. It's actually not too far off being fully charged. Alright, it's not behaving now. Oh, there we go. I'm just wiggling it to see if any connections break. Alright, we'll put that aside and see what happens while we work on the other board. Hey, Michael-chan. Alrighty. Okay, one fresh toasty board out of the oven. Let's have a look at it. Man, those connections look fantastic. Okay, a lot of that, whatever they were using for the thermal compound still seems to be stuck there. Then again, this was only a 3 minute, and at a lower temperature reflow, not reflow, wash, so there's going to be stuff left on it. Because normally I do a 5 at 60 something odd centigrade. But I mean, it's actually, for a 3 minute per side, it's done pretty good. Interesting, I did not work on that, but that you can see has been, had stuff done. Let's have a look at our temperature sensor. It's acceptable. Those two caps there still showing up issues. I have actually worked on this board, not on this specific one, but this model, and I have had to do stuff around here. I end up having to take the caps away, and there is a veer that goes through to somewhere that I needed. No. Alright. Let's see if this does anything. Hey, Vladim. I think we can try it without the need of a heatsink on it, because we know pretty quick within a few seconds whether it's going to behave or not. The new financial year is upon us. I don't think we're going to see any difference, but fingers crossed. At least it still powers up. Come on, give me a green. Make my night. No, same crap. Let's see if heating up that area does the same thing again. Ah, g'day Rescue. Yeah, I was going to say, it's been a while since I've seen you. Okay, let's see what happens now. Okay, so I just heated this corner here. It doesn't seem to have upset it. It dies out just as when it's about to do what we'd expect to be the blinky phase. I'm just going to try heat the MOSFETs. Yep. Let's see. Try to heat these two tantalum caps here. Ooh, okay. So we heated up those and it's gone into bad behavior mode, but it could also just be the cumulative heat that, we've been heating up various bits and pieces, and maybe now it's at the threshold where it's, I'm not going to put freezer spray on it, it'll kill it. So we are back again straight away. Just trying to pick a victim here. So what's on the other side? So we've got this stuff here on the other side. I have been down this path before. I have been down this path before. Yep. This is the story of a dead PCH that doesn't want to play ball and give me a heartache. As soon as I saw these two chips here, it reminded me that I've played this stupid game before, but I'm going to keep playing for now. Yeah, the rabbit hole. I guess what I'm trying to do right now is just see how close I can get to finding the center of where it misbehaves. Hey Vladimir! CPU die. No. It's something around in this corner here. No. Okay, definitely responded quicker around there. Could that coil be crap? Okay, that came back up good then. Alright, what we're going to do now is we'll switch over to using a moderately chunky soldering iron. And we start actually just putting our soldering iron tip on the various pads of parts and see if we can specifically locate a part that is sensitive. Okay, so like we think maybe the coil. So we just get a little bit of, come on, wake up. Yeah, alright. So we solder onto the coil a bit. Doesn't seem to be that. It may actually, it is misaligned, I do agree. We'll try to solder onto that cap there. Doesn't appear to be that. This is going to get tricky now. Just going to rest it on top of the cap. It's a very effective way of ruining a perfectly good tip. No. Let's try to heat up the coil just a bit more. You can't really test the coils with a normal multimeter other than just for continuity and absolute resistance as opposed to impedance. Okay, what I can do is I can heat up the board around here and see if anything happens. Ah. That seems to be fine. Basically, I'm trying to work out what side the sensitivity is. And particularly if it does respond to just heating up on the circuit board, then that's a bad sign. Badder than already bad signs. Shouldn't take too much if it is on this side. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not on this side. The reason why I say it shouldn't be too much, require too much if it's on this side is because when you think about it, we're not putting a lot of heat on the top side, and if it was to migrate, okay, that just died out then. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is an internal board issue. Bloody internal board issues. Interesting, it hasn't come back up either. Okay, now we do a bit of flexing will come next. Okay. Let's put a little bit of twist on it. Ah. I should point out that even though it's not really running, it does still get hot. Advanced USB diagnostic. Not much use when the USB isn't even coming up. Yeah, it'd be great. Yeah, let's have fancy tools. Unless you mean a what do you call it? Logic probe. Yeah, that coil's seemingly okay. I can replace the coil. I mean, you know, what's the worst that's going to happen? Well, I don't know what part that coil plays. I guess it doesn't really matter, does it? Like I said, what bothers me is the fact that these people, whoever repaired it before us, to make this refurb board that they sold on eBay probably, they have already been stuffing around with something around the CPU, which means there was already an issue there to start with. Now, whether they actually fixed it or not, I don't think so. I have a feeling it went away after all their meddling, but it wasn't because of their meddling. It was just simply because it just went away because the board twisted or the connection got remade. Something. It wasn't because of them, I don't think. These caps are not going to like this. Yeah, that bloody pop, that crack noise that you hear, that is not good to hear. Yeah, Michael Chan, I genuinely agree with you on this. I'm pretty sure the CPU is the culprit. I've had them do this before, and I'm just going down the same damn rabbit hole again. That should suffice. Yeah, I know it seems a little weird that I'm doing it off the edge of the board, but actually I kind of want to do it the other way, more like that. Oh, yes, here we go. No, wasn't that? Yeah, I'm getting bloomin' tired. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. I think it's time for me to wrap that up. Let's have a check and see how that battery's going. And that might be our only success for the night. That's a bummer. I mean, it's great that we can get this little thing going, but like I said, it would have been nice to get the big beast going. So our flashing rate's slowed down quite a bit. And now it's upset. Let's check that voltage. I believe it was 3.97 the last time. Let's switch over to voltage mode. Yeah. And we are at 4.1, so we are charging, so that is doing its job. There just seems to be some issues with the casing itself, but nothing a bit of hot glue and whatever can't fix. Its behavior is a little strange. And yeah, I still don't know why there's 2 ports instead of just 1. What happens if we plug into the other one? Nothing, it's the same. Interesting. Oh well. I guess that will just continue to do its thing until it probably stops blinking or just stays constant. Not sure which way it's going to go. Alright, well, that's it for tonight. Man, I am having a bad run with jobs. As in, I cannot seem to get a nice clean win for the moment, so maybe tomorrow. That's all you can do. Get up, try again. Don't cry too much, or if you do, do it in the shower, or definitely don't do it into your ice cream, because diluted ice cream is blah. But yeah, the important thing is get up tomorrow, try again. So you all take care, and I'll see you then.